All right, guys, I am Christine Morenz. I've been with the company for a year. I just recently received my IATAN card, so I felt that it was time for kind of an intermediate training on what to do between booking and departure. So at this point, you've probably figured out how to get them booked, but now you want to know what to do next. All right, so in 4 simple things we're going to go over, we're going to set the expectation for your client. Then we're going to talk about a timeline of contact. So kind of how you're going to be contacting your client in between, say you book them in January, they don't travel till October. What do you do over the course of those 10 months? Number 3 is one of the most important things is what documents do they need? And number 4, we'll go over some bonus things that you could do to really personalize that 10 months that you have where you're interacting with your client. How can you maximize that? All right, guys, so looking here, this was just a statistics I found, and there was a lot of statistics, but this one was saying that businesses are doubling down on what works. And I'm sure this is something you've heard before. You could spend your whole time gaining new clients, but when you could actually invest in the clients that have already booked with you, that is, really the most important thing, and it will save you so much time. You've got someone, they've agreed to book with you, and now how can you develop that relationship with them and control that relationship with them so that you can get that repeat business? All right. Let's see. So setting the expectations. Now, I wanted this to be a little bit interactive. So I had it set on a timer, kind of like a Family Feud. If you want to hop in the chat box, what service will you promise? So what type of thing, how do people typically book? They typically book, let's just say on Expedia, they book a flight to a hotel and a transfer. What kind of service does Expedia give them? Do they call their clients? Do they send them private messages? Do they send them personalized thank you cards? Yeah, exactly. They basically are there when things go wrong. And even when things go wrong, they don't really knock that ball out of the park. I'm pretty sure we all dread making that phone call to Expedia if something goes wrong. Maybe we couldn't go on our trip, or we had to change the dates, or maybe we wanted to upgrade our room category. So many people worry about, what if the price goes down? Who's going to look out for me? Or what if a room upgrade in my cruise pops up? Who's going to look out for me? So those are the kind of things that we can do. All right, so we offer direct communication. So this is something I want to set up even prior to booking, how to sell myself. I say, this is what I'm going to offer you, right? So I'm going to offer you direct communication. If you prefer phone calls, if you prefer, text message, you can reach me. However, I recommend setting boundaries. We learn best when we have pain. And I definitely have had clients call me at 10:30 at night. I've had clients texting me in the middle of the night, and I just try and tell them, look, it's midnight, my time and your time. I will respond to you, but if something's really pressing, absolutely. If you're in travel, absolutely. But if it's 10 months before your trip, maybe just send me a quick email. I won't respond till certain hours. So I set those expectations, with people, because it is going to be 10 months. And I'm telling you, I have dealt with brides, and I've dealt with brides who call me Sunday afternoon or Sunday while I'm at church. And so you've got to just say, I'm here. But at the same time, realistically, I'm not open 24 hours unless you're on your trip, okay. So trip modifications, we are here when they want trip modifications. I have had clients contacting the vendor. I had that with Virgin Voyages. She booked with me. I didn't explain to her that if she wanted to change her room or change her email, she could reach me. She was so used to doing everything herself. she texted me and let me know she'd been on hold for 2 hours with Virgin Voyages. And I said, oh my gosh, you could have absolutely sent me a quick message. I will sit on hold. I will send the emails and I will do those for you. Yes, boundaries are very important. It's very true. Absolutely. All right. So we're here to do those trip modifications, but you got to let them know that. I didn't let her know. And she thought she had to do everything. She thought book with me, but then she still had to facilitate. So let her know, let your clients know, you will help them with that. You're going to be working with the vendor and then you will be relaying that conversation. You can add on trip components and that's amazing too. So for instance, again, I'll stick with that client. She booked a Virgin Voyages cruise. I absolutely first thing let her know, I am happy to book your flight, your hotel, your transfers. I'll help with excursions, anything else that she wants to add to that trip, because those are just extra sales. And those are the things that we can offer and make their trip more complete. So I put here flights, hotels, transfers, excursions, any of those things. Viator, we can use additional vendors or the same vendor to add on. The more value you can give to them, the more you just completely make their trip seamless. All right, the next, I'm sorry. One more thing I was going to mention is that I invested in this a few months in. My first couple trips were very simple, a hotel, a flight, a little bit here and there. Not until I really had a very big booking. I had a client going from Philadelphia to Hawaii and then going to 3 different islands with multiple excursions, multiple accommodations, multiple flight codes. So I found it was best to create an interactive itinerary. A lot of us use Travefy. If you haven't heard it, check it out. If you, want to contact your mentor, ask them if they use it, they can get you a referral code and you can get a bigger discount. When the client sees it, it's called trip plans. So I've definitely seen it before where someone has said, oh, my travel agent gave me something called trip plans, and it's an app. It's a free app they can download, but that's what it comes up for them. So it's called trip plans, but for us, it's called Travefy. So take a look at that. It creates beautiful interactive itineraries, and that's just where you can also offer that extra thing to make you different and make you more special. All right, a timeline of contact. Now, this is another kind of expectation you want to just inform your client, because I don't know if you've ever made a very large purchase before, $10,000, made that huge deposit and you were, real excited. And then the next day you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? And that's called buyer's remorse, right? And people they can panic a lot. And they also might have contacted you, 5 times that week, and you had all these phone calls and these conversations, and it built up to booking, getting their credit card information, putting a deposit down and holding their trip. And then they're kind of like, now what, right? So this is where I like to send them with their contract from the vendor, I like to give them a timeline. So I like to say, now, these are the payments you have coming up. You made your deposit, your final payment is due 45 days prior to travel, or that's how it is in VAX. A little different for cruises. But I like to set that expectation. Now, I also do kind of open the window and say, you're welcome to make payments up until then. We can discuss that if you'd like, if that's something you're interested in. I send them their confirmation. So remember, when you are booking travel, you are putting your information into the system. So those confirmations are going to come to you. You will forward them along. So let them know that those confirmations typically come with final payment. So that they won't look for confirmation codes for their hotel, confirmation details for their transfers until they've made that final payment. And that's, again, mostly with VAX. So the hotel, flight, transfers, all those types of confirmations, even excursions, you're going to let them know when they will be receiving those confirmations and that you will be confirming them. That is a service that we offer, that we can confirm those. Sorry, I didn't mean to go so fast through that one. that make sense to everyone? I can take a pause here if anyone has any questions so far. Do I use a template for that, Charlene? I really don't. I make scripts when I feel that the verbiage that I have sent to a client sounds good. I kind of copy, put it into my Google documents, and then I might use that over and over again and tweak it to their trip. Again, depending on if it's a cruise versus if it's a typical, like an all-inclusive, or what type of vacation it is.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nikki. Oh, absolutely. I will be posting this to YouTube, but I will figure out how to get it into the chats first. And I'm also, this is my first time doing it, so I will be posting or I will be doing this again in 2 weeks too. So I might have, added a few things to this. All right, so clicking through here. So the next thing, it is very important for you. Today is 12/7/22, December 7th, 2022. If you did not watch the Coffee with Ron yesterday, it is on Archer's Facebook Live. It most likely will be on Archer's and Evolution's YouTube. I highly recommend you watching it. I feel like there may have been some sort of problem that Ron was alluding to, and he was basically letting us know that it is extremely important and it is in our duties to be providing the documents and the communication that our clients need, especially when they are traveling abroad. I always send the exact information that our vendors send us. If you send the exact information that your vendors send us, you can delete out Apple Vacations, FunJet, any of that. It will have clickable links to make sure that if they need to get a visa, if they, how the whole passport validity works, what that means for them. And just in case there is something that you didn't verbally have that conversation with them, that contract has plenty of fine print on it, and you want to be sending that along. So definitely watch this Coffee with Ron. It was on just yesterday. It's important to know just to completely cover yourself with that communication that you have for your client. So see those vendor documents that the vendor sends you, and make sure that those links are clickable when you send them to your client. Don't send it to them as a PDF and then it's not clickable. I created kind of a what to know before you go. I created this by just Googling what should you advise your clients to know before they go. From what I Googled, I kind of compiled my own form that now I send to my clients. And I'm going to go through that with you. I had a feeling my computer might not work so well, so I did a little bit of screenshots so that I would know it would be available for this presentation. But what you want to do from this is, just kind of get the overview and then create your own form. So if you've already created your own form that's like a travel quote request, you should be very familiar with JotForm or Google Forms. But the beauty of those is that when you send it to the client, it's clickable. So they can click it kind of like a checkbox saying, okay, I did that. I remember to do this. They can send it to themselves and they can send it to you. And that way, they've seen your form and it's got like a little question at the bottom. It says like, do you have any additional questions? So that you've had that communication. I send that form 2 weeks prior to travel as kind of a preemptive, this is my last kind of big conversation. Let's get yourself packed with all the things that you need. So creating a form, whereas I could give you this link and I will give you mine, you will have to create your own form in order for it to direct back to you. So it would have to be connected to your like Gmail or something so that you can get that form coming back to you. If you would like to just create a PDF, that's perfectly fine. Create it in Word as a PDF. I just find the clickable form to be a little bit more fun. You can Google it, but you can also personalize it with your own advice. Maybe something that maybe you want to add in, like, don't forget sunscreen, just those little things that you can absolutely personalize it with. All right, so these are some screenshots of my form. So it was hard for me to do it. So I did it kind of in sections here. So this is from Travify, and you can create forms through there. So the first thing they'll fill out is their name. And then just double checking, because you do have a small window still prior to travel in case anything is wrong. You know, I've had brides change their names prior to their honeymoon on their documents. So even though I had her document at the beginning of travel, I'm sorry, at the beginning of booking, by the time she was ready to travel, she had changed her name. So I needed to alert the vendors. So you need to make sure that everything is still valid. They can check these things off. Make sure their date of birth is correct. Dates and times are still good. And this is a good time for you to look too, to see if those flight dates, or not dates, but times have changed 2 weeks prior to. Oh, good God. Are your departure and arrival cities correct? Are the dates of your hotel still correct? Are your dates of your car rental, your pickup times and pickup, you know, just making sure that you are double checking their eyes and your eyes, everything is correct. That passport validity, it has to be valid at least 6 months prior to, or I'm sorry, after they've returned home. And that is a customs thing. It is not an Archer thing. It is not something that I have created. Customs wants to make sure that you don't stay there. They don't want you to stay there. And then they also actually want your passport to have 2 or more empty pages. It's just something I found. All right, guys, I'm gonna quick check the personality, how do you bring yourself on the confirmation. All right, I'll go over those in just a second, Patricia. All right, so this is just another time for them to say, we asked you about that trip insurance, right? Now, we do have trip protection with Vax, but if they have not purchased it, you know, within a certain time frame on Vax, they actually cannot purchase it anymore, but they can purchase more of an in-travel protection. So if something happened mid-travel, not so much that they cancel it because, you know, say they figured something is going to happen or something did happen and now they want to cancel it, it won't necessarily be protected. However, we do now have Tin Leg, which you can find on the Travel Cafe, and they do offer an added protection that your traveler can book, I think, up to 5 days prior to departure. You could still sell a trip insurance policy up until a little bit closer to departure through Tin Leg. And so that is something that is available to us. And it's just one more time for them to say yes, no, when they definitely declined it. You want to make sure you definitely offered it. All right. For international travel. Now, this is something that we all know is ever changing, whether or not they need a vaccine, whether or not they need to be COVID tested prior to entry or back into the US, this had been fluctuating a lot. The reason why I've got these clickable links in there is so that these things are constantly updated, but definitely go back in and check your form to make sure that it is still accurate as the times change. Travel advisories, this website will get you to the current travel advisories. And I have checked all these links. They were all great links, very informative for your client who might want to know all these extra details. This is something that Jose talks about all the time. He talks about the STEP program when you travel abroad and you would receive alerts and be located in an emergency. So these are all free things that they can enroll in or, you know, read this information. This is if children are traveling with one parent or someone who is not a parent or legal guardian, or if they're traveling in a group. You know, there are things that they might need. They might need custody documents. This is also applicable on cruises too. So there is a clickable link there. And then on the form, they have the opportunity to click. I have reviewed these websites for my travel, or I have additional questions. So they can pose that to you. I still have questions. All right, possible additional changes here. So let me see. So definitely flights could absolutely change, but these are, oh, sorry, charges, my apologies. Additional charges. In this case, your client didn't read the fine print. This is another opportunity for you to show them the fine print, I think. So trip insurance, really understanding what it is and if there's additional charges and how it works. There may be additional car rental taxes and fees due at the counter. The incidental hold at the hotel or resort. Some people might not know that the hotel or resort might hold their credit card for a $200 incidental charge. Resort fees due at check-in. This is becoming a bigger thing these days. And it is good for them to know, check your contract. Does it say that there are resort fees, a per night charge, a per room charge, that kind of thing? There might be hotel and resort cleaning fees. I have definitely seen this in Hawaii. I've seen both of these, resort fees and hotel and resort cleaning fees. I have called the hotel to get an estimate of what my client is to expect, but these are things that you want to make sure your client is aware of. Airline baggage fees. Believe it or not, there are some people out there who think that airlines don't charge for baggage, and they absolutely do, unless you're magically flying on Southwest. They will charge you to sit next to the person that you booked with. They will charge you to sit next to a child. And God forbid you want to bring those bags home, you have to pay for that too. So this is just something that you want to make sure your clients are aware of. The airline will estimate the baggage fees. They will most likely discount the baggage fees if your client pre-books them. So if, say, they're packing and 48 hours prior to their trip, they're like, okay, I have 2 bags. They've weighed them. They know that they're less than 50 pounds. They could pre-purchase them and save a couple extra bucks too. Car parking fees, as in for maybe Disney, there might be charges for valet, charges for self-parking. Those are all additional fees that your client might want to know if you're putting them at a hotel or a resort that they are not familiar with. And then tips and gratuities is typically written to maybe the excursions. Those are things that are not included, but maybe expected, just to have a little bit of extra cash on hand for, people who handle your luggage, people who are offering those transfers. Those might be expected. All right, this is a good reminder. Make sure to bring all these travel documents. So clicking off, you've got your passport or your real ID if you're traveling domestically, and this is going to be coming up soon. Print out those booking confirmations or those travel documents. If you can even send them to your client if you'd like, but know that things will be updating between the booking and the departure. So make sure that they have either they're comfortable with an app, they're comfortable with your email, they've taken a screenshot in case they think that they might lose service at some time, or they just print out the actual booking confirmations in those travel documents. I highly recommend just bringing that COVID vaccine card if you are vaccinated. You never know when things are going to change. So masks are also still applicable in certain places, and this is always changing. So it's a good idea to just bring that mask. And then it's always a really good idea to leave a copy of your travel documents, a copy of those booking confirmations, where you will be on what days, what flights you're on, and a photocopy of your passport with somebody who's staying home, just so they know where you are, or what if you lost everything, you could contact them. All right. This is a really neat one that I love. Remember to notify business of your travel. So this is more so with credit cards. I always highly recommend to my clients to be bringing credit cards, not necessarily debit cards, but always notify your credit card that you are traveling out of the country so that they don't stop your credit card because they think that it might be fraud, because all of a sudden one day you were in Philadelphia and then the next day you were in Jamaica. So your cell phone is another good one to just give them a call as a client and find out what the charges would be. For instance, on a cruise, what would the charges be if I was on the cruise versus if I was on an island? They do have coverage on some islands and they might charge $10 a day, or they might charge a really astronomical fee. So you want them to be aware of what those charges would be. And then the last one is, the last thing I had on there is any other questions. So I just wrote, thank you for booking with us. We really, truly appreciate the business and your help in checking these last little things. And as always, if you have questions, drop us a line. So to answer your question, Kim, this is a document that I created in Travefy. but I got the information from a Google search on what can I do or how can I facilitate my clients in what they need to know before they go. And I kind of just Googled, international travel. So that's something that I put together personally for my clients as a last kind of checklist. It's also something I Googled, like what are the responsibilities of a travel advisor to inform, to make sure that they have those documents. So go back through that travel agent responsibilities, what we are actually really responsible for and what we could be liable for if we don't educate our clients on those things. Okay, so that was the 3 things. Going over that again. Let me see if I don't even know how to go back, but going over this one more time, set those expectations, okay? That the things that we can offer, that's what you want to talk about as soon as they've booked. This is what I will be doing for you, okay? Setting a timeline of how you're going to be contacting them about what. And then the last one is what documents will you be sending them, and kind of how to, this is kind of that timing in between. Now, this is where I'm going to quickly mention 2 things that are totally different, just that I came over, that I thought of off the top of my head. Disney, totally different. Cruises, totally different. If you're a Disney travel agent, you might want to be educating them about booking their meals prior to, or, their dining prior to. They're going to have to choose what parks they want to be in on what day. These are all post-COVID things. Well, the picking what park on what day. So as a Disney travel agent, you're going to have a little bit different communication in between, and you'll be setting up different dates for those type of things that your client will need. For a cruise, they will have a different timeline dependent on the cruise as to when their final payment will be due, which is much earlier, sometimes 120 days out. Then when they will get access to the excursions that are available on their cruise, when they will get access to booking specialty dining, booking Wi-Fi, that type of thing. It's a little bit different with a cruise, and it definitely depends on the cruise line. And you will be walking your client through setting up their account with the cruise so that they have the app and that they can really interact and choose things prior to their cruise, and they can get really excited about their cruise. So those are a little bit different things for sure. All right. So I'll take questions now before I kind of go over the bonuses of what you could do now that you've booked them. Okay. Bye, Julia. Disney park reservation will change. Do I think the Disney park reservation will change? That is a great question. I would absolutely ask a Disney travel agent for that. I have tried one Disney reservation and I will never do it again until I figured it out a lot better, because I learned a lot from my pain. I talked to a Disney travel agent afterwards and she said, oh, you learned your lesson on that one, right? And so I definitely learned my lesson. There's a lot more to Disney that I don't know. And that the Disney College of Knowledge didn't necessarily give me all that insider input. So in a post-COVID world, Disney is changing all the time. They even just changed CEOs, I think, too. So yeah, anything could change at any time with Disney as they reassess what works best for them, unfortunately. We just have to roll with the punches and stay up to date. And Disney might not keep you up to date. You might have to do your due diligence and stay in Disney Facebook groups, stay in Disney travel agent groups, and know all that information about the changes that Disney makes, like getting rid of Genie Plus. I wasn't aware of that with my client. That kind of happened because I happened to call customer service. Any other questions before I move on to bonuses?
I have a comment, Christine. It's Stacey.
Absolutely.
If you all don't know Christine, she is simply amazing. Thank you so much for this training. I'm so glad
I learned from you.
Hopped on today. if you guys can imagine, think about what you can accomplish in 1 year. Look at Christine, 50
Oh.
bookings, and she's training on specialty training, and look all of that knowledge that she just poured into us. Wow. If we can all be as lucky. Thank you so much. You're such a beautiful soul. I'm so glad to call you my friend. Congrats. Love you.
Oh, thank you so much. It is a really fun business, guys. If you are still just getting into this, there's so much that you can do and so many ways that you can grow. And just be open and be curious and Google everything. I'm telling you, watch the people who book a ton of travel, who book a ton of Disney, and learn from them. What are their tips and tricks? Google, how can I be a better Disney travel agent? YouTube videos galore, and you will learn all sorts of tips and tricks on how different travel advisors facilitate their clients in between booking and departure. Ooh, Hannah, that sounds good to me. If Disney is changing it, that they won't be required to make a reservation for parks, that's great. And I'm glad that you saw that. And this is also the reason why we do trainings, to get that kind of hive knowledge. Maybe I didn't notice it, but someone else noticed it. Maybe Archer hasn't mentioned it yet, but together through these chats and these trainings, this is how we keep all of us up to date. We are blessed to be living in a post-COVID world right now. I want to say that and knock on wood. But imagine the way this was 2 years ago with all of our advisors, trying to keep each other educated on what was going on and what the changes were. We are blessed to be in this world right now. And after that, I would like to jump into the fun stuff. So here's the fun stuff. What makes you, let's go back again. What makes you different than Expedia? What kind of things can you do? So prior to travel, right? You've booked them. Now, before they travel, you could send them a thank you card, with your handwriting. Always ask for a referral. Absolutely always ask for a referral 2 times, in the beginning and at the end. You just book them. They're on a high. They're like, I just booked this trip. This is exciting, but they're also a little nervous. So ride that high, write them a thank you card. Say, thank you so much for trusting me. Don't say I'm new. Don't say I've never done this before. Don't say that. Just say, thank you for trusting me. And then just give a couple business cards and say, if you feel that my service might be of advantage to someone else, I would thank you so much to hand out my business card. I am going to be doing another training after this on client retention and scaling your business. But imagine a network. Imagine you only have 5 bookings, right? It's your first year and you only have 5 bookings. All you have to do is talk to those 5 people who already love you, ask them for the referral, right? People love to give referrals. If they had a great experience with you, now they're going to tell all their friends. They might tag you in Facebook posts, when they went on their trip. Now you've got their whole network. So it's not just about your network. That's only so big. Now you've got their network. So write them a thank you card. That's personalized. Ask for those referral. Send them collateral. You can absolutely send them collateral. When my client went to Hawaii, I didn't know anything about Hawaii, but I was really excited to learn about it. So I did tons of trainings, went on that Hawaii tourism board, ordered tons of Hawaii booklets, and then sent them to her with my thank you card. So she would have maps of the different islands. I highlighted her resorts on each island. So that way she could get even more excited with like a little, fun packet in the mail. Send them swag. When you order your business cards, order stamps, order stickers, order pens, order all sorts of fun stuff. Maybe you send them a little travel tote, with your logo on it. You can send them all sorts of fun stuff just to really personalize it. Some people send them travel or packing tips, especially again with Disney or especially with cruises. That's something that Krista is great at, is she does an entire video on what to expect or what to pack for your first cruise. And that's what she does best. And I love it. Definitely watch that one. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Now, during travel, I got to go back to present. Sorry about that. All right, just getting through this slide here. During travel, you can do whatever you absolutely want. And definitely hop in the chat here. What are some things that you do for your clients before travel, during travel, after travel? These are just some thoughts off the top of my head, things that I've learned from other leaders. You can send them a gift to their room. You can send them a card that just says, thank you so much for booking with us. You could send them a bottle of wine or chocolates. You could check in with them, depending on if it's domestic travel or if it's international, you might have to do it via like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or something that they can actually connect with if they don't technically like have service for texting or phone calls. You can check in with them. The only thing I'm going to say about the gift during travel is definitely when you look at prices, don't be sticker shocked. It might be $50 for a plate of cookies and milk. So because of that type of thing, I also recommend and have learned from the leaders to give them a gift after travel or before travel to their actual address. Because just to, so that you can afford it. All right, guys. Does anyone do Amazon affiliate links for things to buy before travel? Yes, Krista does. I had talked to Krista about that for her cruise training because she offers so many different items that they should purchase, like power outlets, hooks. There's a couple of things, tags for cruises, things like that. And definitely for Disney, same thing. If you create yourself an Amazon affiliate account and you can share those to your clients, absolutely. I mean, those are referrals. Everything in life is a referral and you can get paid for it. All right, guys. So bonuses after travel, things that you could send them. So I know Jody has talked about wine.com. So that was something that I used her referral link. Now I have a wine.com subscription with the stewardship, which means that it's free shipping. Shipping is covered for the year. So that way you could send a bottle of wine to your client and spend maybe only $20 as opposed to if you bought them a bottle of wine at the resort, which might be $50, $60, $70. So if you want to keep it more budget friendly, sending things to their house might be a lot more budget friendly. And then sending them a feedback form. Jody goes over this really great in her booking start to finish video. So check on that one, create your own form if you'd like, and ask for the referral again. Ask them, did they love the resort? Would they use you again? Can you use their, photos if they have some generic photos of just like the resort in your postings? And then ask them, would they recommend your business? Okay. Any questions so far? I am getting to the homework, so I hope you guys aren't too tired. Jody's YouTube is, just Google or YouTube Jody Wariski. Okay, perfect. I had a friend staying at Margaritaville and told them it was her birthday. Sent her chocolate covered strawberries and a birthday card plus chocolates. It was free. See, that's perfect. If you can absolutely call the hotel or resort and ask them if they have a complimentary amenity, that is a perfect way to do it. If it's complimentary and it's free, absolutely. Yep. JZW Travels for Jody. And she has all of her team's recordings on there, so you can learn from all sorts of people from her team. One thing that I forgot to mention, when I do my thank you cards with my business cards asking for the referral, I absolutely, if they give me business, if they refer and give my card out and I get business from them, I absolutely send them a $25 Amazon gift card, thanking them for the referral. If that person books, I absolutely incentivize my clients who have already booked with me to continue to book with me or to continue to refer my name. Let's see. If you want the link for the form, how I'm going to do it is in the next slide, because I thought this might be the easiest way for me to get it to you guys. So your homework is to email me. My name is Christine Morenz. My travel business is called bookwithmorenz@gmail.com is my email. I will send you, and this is just what I write on my form, a what to know before you go form. And I will send that link to you. Now your homework is very simple. fill it out. It'll come right back to me, so I will know that you filled it out. It's just kind of a fun email back and forth. It's nothing official. It's just between us. And then I want you to create your own form and send it to me. So you can do it via job form, Google form. Like I said, if you've already created a quote request form, you should be familiar with creating forms. It's a lot of fun and it is very, very easy. If you need a referral code to Travefy to get a bonus savings, to get extra money off of Travefy, ask your mentor if they have a Travefy account. There's also Travel Joy. Either one. People love them as a platform for creating itineraries for their clients, beautiful looking proposals. It is a subscription. You do get a discount if you subscribe for the entire year or if you pay for the yearly as opposed to the monthly. So kind of decide what works best for you. Definitely use a referral link though, because you will get an extra discount on top of any other discounts. And you can always sign up for free and then they will start sending you more discounts. So you can get discounts on top of discounts, I promise. All right, if you want bonus credit homework, this is something that might tie it all together. Create a mission statement for your company. You know, what is it that you do that makes you stand out? Okay, so if it is, I make travel like more accessible or more interactive or just whatever you want it to do. Don't let it be, I get you the best deal, because that's not going to help your pocket. What's going to help your pocket is helping people book those mega trips that they might not want to or might be hesitant to, like a big group booking or a destination wedding. You know, those big things, make that your goal, to make someone's life easier because you have that education and you have that information that will make their life a lot more easy. And then write a personal mission statement for you, like your why. Like, I want to do this for my clients to make them travel more, you know, because I believe everyone should travel a lot. I know I want to travel a lot, and I know that I want to make it easier for people to access travel. And then make yourself a success folder, you know, highlight your accomplishments. You know, I booked, you know, 2 trips this month, or my goal is this. And definitely keep track of your testimonials. And, you know, when clients say like, she did an amazing job, or she made this so easy for me, something like that, keep track of those things, post those things. Those things will keep you motivated and keep that momentum going. And then post certifications, you know, continue to get knowledge and continue to get certifications about different, you know, destinations, different vendors, you know, cruise lines or Disney. Find those things, get certified in things, and become educated on those products for your clients. That's kind of our job. You know, we really want to advise as travel advisors. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording.